how do you tackle distribution for, I guess, the Growth Show specifically?
Yeah. So it's a game of many different rivers, right? So we do social promotion. We have we put work into optimizing the podcast not only for iTunes or Apple Podcasts, but also for Spotify and other listening vehicles.
So, and that's, sorry to interrupt. And so that's so you can get organically found within Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all the various podcast platforms, right?
Yes. Yeah. So thinking about things like, the biggest driver for distribution in Apple Podcasts is their ranking lists,
yep.
Right? So you should know before you launch, which category of lists within Apple Podcasts am I going after? Am I going after the marketing category? Am I going after the business category? And if so, like who's in there? Am I going after North American listenership or LATAM? You should target who you're going after and try to get into doesn't need to be like a top 10 list, but try to get into like fastest growing or like on trend or on like increased listenership. And the ways you can do that is when you first go to launch, don't just release one episode, release like 3 episodes to begin with. Make sure you drive all of your existing advocates and customers and employees to leave comments and to leave reviews, and to subscribe and to share it. Try to get a high intensity of activity around the podcast when you first launch. That's Apple. That is a tough nut to crack.
Yep.
Spotify's a lot easier. Spotify actually has discovery algorithms within it, and you can try to get found through like similar shows on Spotify. And I think that there's some value, I think, outside of those platforms in partnerships. So if you've got a podcast and you're somebody who's in like an adjacent space but is friendly with your company, has a podcast, maybe you guys do a switch where they interview you interview them, you try to borrow off each other's audiences. You could also, a deeper version of that is literally to try to get like an episode released in their feed if you have a really strong partnership. So I think that's a nice way. Newsletters, podcast advertising is actually, we've seen some good success with it. So it's really like, what don't you do? It's a slog to get discovered. So I would use every channel available to you, and I would repackage your content. So have the interview, then turn that into a blog post, then turn that into social posts, then incorporate that content into your customer newsletters going out. I think we have to think about all things.
Thanks for watching. If you want to hear more of our conversation, head on over to tobeagency.co, where we have the full podcast posted.